I am Sarah. I read as Sora the Intuitive for Sky Messages by Sora. I am a tarot reader who specializes in past life readings. I also teach and mentor the tarot. I have two journals, one for learning the tarot and one for more learning yourself and deepening the connection with your deck. That one's a collaboration with Killer Pancake, who makes a couple of the decks I'll be reviewing. The reason I started this channel, and specifically this series, the tarot review series, is that I really want people to be able to have a connection. I want anyone who wants to do the tarot to be able to learn it. And a lot of times people get really frustrated because the first deck that they start using, they don't really connect with. And so I'm hoping that instead of getting frustrated or spending a lot of money on decks that they then realize they don't want, people can sort of start to learn what their style is, what theme they're looking for, what kind of imagery works for them, and help people find the right decks for them. I do believe that if there is a tarot deck out there, there is an audience for it. And if there is somebody who wants to learn, then there's definitely a deck for them. So this won't have star ratings. This won't be about what's good and bad. It'll be about the details, such as the guidebook, a level that it's good for, like basic to advanced. It will be, how close it is to the Rider-Waite or the Tarot de Marseille, or the Thoth for those who prefer that. And it will just give people a look and hopefully help them start to begin their journey. Or for those of us who have been on their journey for a while, but are thinking about new decks and testing out different things, give them a preview. So there are some of the decks behind me, but if there are any you're interested in, let me know. And let's get started. For today's tarot deck review, we are going to be looking at the Antique Anatomy Tarot deck. Now, this deck I actually bought secondhand, so I do not have the guidebook, but I have looked it up. I will talk a little bit about that. If you want to see it brand new, there are a couple of channels on here that have walkthroughs. I do believe it's still available, so it probably is available, so if you do want to, that's a good idea. So the box is excellent, really sturdy, has held up. I do use this wrap instead, only because the box is so big that I can't really just throw it in my purse when I want to keep it nearby. So I do have it in the wrap just to make it easier for me storage wise, but it's really sturdy. It's really beautiful. I really like it. Now, as I said, I do not have the guidebook. I don't know if the person who sold it to the shop kept it or got rid of it or what. But having looked online and at the various walkthroughs, it is a really good guidebook. It has information on the history of the tarot and on how to do the tarot, each of the cards. I would have to look it up again to look at things like the spreads it offers, but it is fairly comprehensive. Looks to have keywords and the basics. The cards are a little thin, but that may be time and wear. Very easy to shuffle. Still a very big fan of them. For the suits, they did change some of the names, so they have like elixirs for cups, blades for swords, rods for wands, which isn't really changing. There are other decks that have that. And then they just use coins, which is fairly standard. All in all, I really love this deck. The illustrations are why I was so drawn to it. They remind me of various notebooks I'd seen in museums from old doctors, and including when I went to the Poison exhibit. And there's just such beauty in it. You know, it is skeletons and bones, but it's not really done in a horror or spooky kind of way. It's more of a interest and respect in the human body. So it's pretty cool. And I think they actually match things up really well. They kept the pages, knights, queens, and kings for the court cards, and they all have a very profile look. I do not know what that noise is in the background. Hopefully you can't hear it as much as I can. So my editing is not the most amazing. But I think they're really beautiful. There's nice color in the flowers. And I do feel like they give a nice idea of what each card is. Now, who it's good for, I would say, honestly, I think any level, although if you are not used to pip decks, even though this isn't a pip deck, it is kind of a partial pip. If you look at the way, in fact, it probably would be considered a pip deck because you see a lot of it done by numbers. The reason I don't think of it as a pip deck is if you look, there's hints as to things, and even the 3 has its same sort of shape. So if you look, I feel like there are actually more clues as to the meanings than you would find in a traditional pip. That said, if you are somebody who is taught heavy with the symbolism, then it's probably not going to be a great beginner deck for you. I do think it's a good one to learn on, but I also do think it's better for more intuitive readers than it is for beginners who are very oriented in terms of pulling out the exact. But I love this Fool. Look at that. Stepping out into the new chapters, blank slates, new beginnings. I love that. I think if you have that kind of love of that old look, that old style, I think it's really great. If you like the science aspect, the botany, the anatomy, I think it'd be really great for you. Back to beginners, I think it just matters what style you learn, because I think at first glance it looks very pippy, but if you really look at the labels and the shapes and the way things are laid out, I think you'll find it's actually a lot easier than you realize. Okay, so I am shuffling to do the reading for the week. While I do that, I'm going to thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, interacting, commenting. If you would like a personal reading, please go to my website or email me. I will not contact you for newsletters and information. You can also find links on the website for that. To see more examples of my reading, there is a playlist called Readings for the Collective, and there are also readings on my TikTok, my Instagram, and that sort of thing. All right, so we have the 8 of Wands, or the 8 of Rods, the 3 of Coins, and the 6 of Elixirs, or Cups. So the 8 of Wands, or the 8 of Rods, is the just do it card. It's a card of action. It is not a card of impulsivity. And this is a great example of what I was talking about. Yes, there are 8 wands and some flowers, but the 8 of Wands is usually just 8 wands flying through the air. It is a card of action and movement, and so that fits perfectly. Now, when I say it is the card of action, it is about taking action on something you've been waiting to take action on. So you've had the plan, you've got all the pieces, but you're waiting for the right time. This card says you have to make it the right time. I love it with the Three of Coins because that is a card of teamwork. And having teamwork with this Just Do It would say to call on your support system in terms of making this work. So maybe it's not exactly the right time, but if you have that support behind you, you have people helping you push it out or helping you to do whatever you need to do, you can make it that right time. And then we have it with the Six of Cups, generally known as a card of nostalgia. Here you see it's got for past life regression, for rekindling love, for uncovering secrets, for promoting harmony. It's all of those looking back fondly, pulling the good parts from the past and using them to ensure yourself a happier future. So I love this because while it's a look back at the past, it is not trying to be stuck in the past. And that is one of the only concerns with the Six of Cups, is getting stuck somewhere that's no longer here. This is that look back to help with that support. So this is a good foundation, and then you pull in your team and you just go forward and understand that you have what you need. I know this is a really short deck review today. Again, that is because this is secondhand, so there's not as much I can comment on in terms of buying, but it's also a fairly straightforward deck, both in terms of message and the ideas. It kept to traditions, so it's what people are used to, which makes it easier. So there's not a lot of commentary as to what would change. Mostly I just really love it. And so I hope that you did enjoy it. Always open to suggestions on other decks and other things that you would like me to comment on in my reviews. Have a wonderful week.